My point is this.
Yeah.
My point is this. Let's hold Sean Payton to some sort of professional accountability. His behavior as the head coach of the Denver Broncos is unacceptable. If I'm the Walton family, I do not want somebody representing me this way. And I want to say this about Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson takes a hell of a lot of heat. The humility that Russell Wilson has shown, the professionalism that Russell Wilson has shown inside of that building, while being treated that way by that man, all I got to say to Sean Payton is you lucky you had the right one.
Let's go. Let's go ahead and get into it. Russell Wilson has officially been benched by Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. I would say it's not a surprise, but it is very much a surprise. When you look at Russell Wilson's season, 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, he's getting paid a pretty sizable amount to be in Denver. Have the numbers lived up to what they probably expected when bringing in Russell Wilson? I don't know, because I don't know what they were thinking when they brought in Russell Wilson. It gave up so many picks for him. So if we were to look back, and we throwing it on the screen now, if we were to look back at everything that Denver gave up to get Russell Wilson, you would think they knew something that nobody else knew, right? I don't know. We look at those numbers when he was in Seattle for his last season. What made them give up so much to get him? I don't exactly know, but everybody knows a franchise quarterback can make a world of difference. However, they gave up a lot to get him. He wasn't put in an ideal situation with his head coach. I don't think anybody can blame last year on Russell Wilson. That wasn't all his fault. He didn't help the situation any, but it wasn't his fault. And then you look at Denver Broncos this year, the fact that they started off 1-5, the fact that they were somehow able to pull off 6 straight and basically put themselves in playoff contention, pulling themselves up by the bootstrap, I would say it was a job well done. If anything, this is more of something that I'm looking at Sean Payton and questioning if he was ever really who people thought he was, because he did play with, coach with Drew Brees, right? So maybe that covered up more of who he wasn't. Then this is, a determination of who Russell Wilson is. Kind of disappointed in Denver, but I will say, it is what it is. What are your thoughts on it, Doug?
I think one of the biggest reasons why Denver gave up so much for Russell Wilson is just for the simple fact that they just drafted poorly over the past 4 or 5 years, and then the acquisitions that they got through free agency and different trades, like they had Teddy Bridgewater, they had drafted Lynch, they drafted what's your boy that play in Seattle now? Is it Locke?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. And I think there's one more that they had drafted. So basically, they went through 4 quarterbacks before getting to Russell Wilson. So I think the reason why they gave up the farm was because of that. And then on top of that, I think he's playing good football. I don't think he's making that many mistakes for Sean Payton to act in the way in which he's acting towards Russell Wilson. So I think there's something going on with those two. That dynamic is just not going to work. But I want Sean Payton to realize that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Unless you got some picks in the draft, which you don't because you gave up the farm, you're going to have to find somebody that's a free agent and give them a substantial amount of money to bring them to Denver. Denver has some pieces for sure. It has some pieces. I just don't think the way that he's carrying. I think the way he's carrying out with Russell Wilson is unacceptable. I just think as a coach, you have to be more stoic in situations. Now, granted, you may have to get on players and rally your players and such, but players don't respond well to that type of dynamic that he has with Russell Wilson. And again, maybe they have a relationship with Russell. Say, hey, coach me however you need to coach me. I can take it. But for me as an athlete, you can't coach me like that. You can't
Yeah,
coach me like that.
especially not an NFL athlete. I can see if this was college or high school, but we talk about somebody that's in the league and who's already won a Super Bowl.
and I made more money than you. So where's the mutual respect? Where's the mutual respect as a man? So that's all I had to say, man. I think again the reason why they're in the position that they are in because they drafted poorly, they've traded poorly, and I just think that Sean Payton is really not doing a good job with the culture of the team.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a cohesive unit when they're on the sideline together. So when we think about what would happen from here, he's being benched. They're on the hook, I believe, for 37 million for next year. No matter what, I think Russell Wilson will get let go by the Denver Broncos at the end of this season.